Hello everybody, I hope you are doing well, and this past weekend the K-League kicked off, and for those of you who are not quite sure what that is the South Korean top division football, so it's technically the K-League 1 as it's now known as, and I thought it might be interesting to have a look at some of the shirts that have been released. I know that most of us are European based and sort of football played in Asia is not going to be necessarily on the forefront of our radar, but I promise you some of the shirts that get released in that part of the world are beautiful. I think we're more sort of acutely aware of the Japanese shirts, either the historical ones or the ones that are currently released, and we know that they can release some pretty wild designs, but I think it's fair to say that Korea is definitely up there, and I just thought it might be interesting to just raise awareness for some shirts that we might not necessarily be thinking about. Problem is with the Korean shirts is like with I suppose with the Japanese ones, it's very difficult to actually find a place to buy them if you are in Europe. They don't really necessarily sort of ship to Europe, I don't think directly, and when it comes to collecting them, I only have one Korean shirt myself, and it's this Gangwon one, which ironically doesn't really have the most amazing of designs. So hopefully watching this video it might inspire us to try and find a way to facilitate getting some of these shirts, because I think adding some of these would be amazing to all of our collections. So let's run through them and see which ones we like and see which ones we don't necessarily like. So as with a lot of the videos, I'm sorry if I mispronounce any of the words, but this is just really not my forte. So we have Jeju FC, and these are a football team that are currently getting their shirts manufactured by a company called Gold Studio. Apparently they're some sort of sportswear lifestyle fashion brand. I went on their website and they have like hoodies and sort of tracksuit bottoms and all that stuff that were actually pretty highly priced. But they have a partnership with Jeju FC and they've been doing their shirts for a wee bit now, I think. So you've got the home shirt, which is this blue one with sort of white band and these gold trims, which are very, very nice. They are put together very well. I think it has like a gold leaf pattern inspiration, certainly across the collar. And I think it looks really cool. I think it looks very, very nice. I think the blue and white works together and the gold definitely elevates it. Then when you look at the away shirt, it's effectively the same shirt, just all the blue that is present is now no longer there, and it's pure white and gold. And if I'm honest, I think this away shirt is beautiful. I would absolutely add this one to my collection. It looks very, very classy, well put together, very silky, and yeah, definitely one that I think I will try and purchase. Now we have FC Seoul. So they are a football shirt that have manufactured by a company called Pro Specs. No, it's not a glasses company, it's just a sportswear brand based in Seoul, which makes sense of course. And then you have the home shirt, which is this sort of black and red striped effect with sort of more gold that's separating those two colours. The home shirt is apparently inspired by the Dancheong, which is a folk painting at Seoul's Gyeongbokgung Palace. Probably mispronounced those words there, but I think that's pretty cool to have that level of inspiration. And then you have the away shirt, which is this white effort, and this one has a pattern which apparently features the Seoul's guardian deity as the background. Two references there that I don't really know too much about, but they look very cool, especially this away shirt. I think if I had to choose, I would probably go for the away shirt once again. Next we have Gangwon FC, and they're manufactured by Fila. Not a company you see floating around too often now, I think you'd say. Possibly what Maccabi Tel Aviv is the only one that I can think of off the top of my head. I wasn't able to find a perfect image of these, but once they start playing some games, I'll be able to edit something together, I think. These shirts aren't as wild as some of the other ones that we've seen or will see. Home shirt is just sort of an orange, which I do like orange, but there's not much else going on. Then the away shirt is a white one with sort of an orange sash which runs across the front there. It is broken up by the sponsor, which is rather nice, but other than that there isn't anything too crazy going on. But I do need a Fila shirt in my collection, so maybe I will try and get one of those also. Now we have Kimchungsung FC, and these shirts are manufactured by Kelme, and they have this sort of Call of Duty style camouflage pattern, which kind of makes sense when you realise that this club is actually the club for the South Korean military. So of course over there is a 2 years mandatory service that you have to sort of carry out, and for the players who play professional football for the clubs, a handful of them, when they're doing their service, will be picked to play for this team also, so they can still sort of, I suppose, maintain their level of competency at the game. And because of that, once the 2 years have then completed, they'll go back to the clubs that they came from. And I think that's very interesting, is it? You know, especially obviously I live in a company where military service is not mandatory, so I think that's really, really cool and definitely makes me want to go for these shirts. So the home one is sort of red with sort of blue detailing, and the away shirt is just white with, I guess, more of a grey detailing. Definitely want to grab one of these shirts, and because of the nature of the club, they aren't allowed to sign foreigners, which I guess makes sense. So now we have Incheon United FC, and it's manufactured by Macron, so it's nice to see that Macron are also floating around in South Korea. And for them, the designs are actually not that crazy. So the home shirt is using the traditional colours of black and blue, and it has sort of like this, I don't know, diamond effect that sort of floats around the chest and towards the bottom. I'm sure in person it looks very, very nice. It's probably a more shinier finish. And the away shirt is even more simple, really. It does have an off-white colour. This image here makes it look a lot more cream than it is. I think in person it is more white, but I still think it's really, really nice. So definitely some shirts there I think are pretty simple. Usually Macrons are the one that are pushing the limits, but it seems to be the other manufacturers in this instance. Now we have Jeju United, so it's the other club that is manufactured by Fila, and to be honest, these shirts have a very similar design. The other one, again, their primary colour is orange, and there isn't too much craziness with regards to the design, sort of black and white trims and a little something going down the sides on the home shirt. And the away shirt, again, is just sort of a white effort with some opposite colour trims. The orange is now instead of the white. But again, you know, I suppose you'd pick up one of them. I don't think you'd necessarily pick up both of these clubs. Now we have Hyundai Motors FC, and I think they were with Hummel for a bit, now they are with Adidas. I could only find their home shirt. I don't know what their away shirt would be. If that gets released at some point, I will add it to my website. And it just follows a typical Adidas template, which is weird and interesting because usually this club play in a really lime green colour, or at least have been doing recently. But from what I read online when I was researching these kits, apparently lime green is not a colour option for this particular template that they've gone with, so they've had to go for this darker effort. And I thought that was quite interesting. I thought usually you think, well, I understand if you're a five-a-side team that you could only follow certain clubs, but if you're one of the best clubs in Korea, surely you should be allowed just to be able to have the lime green, but obviously not. They went for the darker one. Now we have Pohang Steelers, manufactured by Puma, and these two are actually really, really nice shirts, specifically this home shirt. So we've got the sort of red and black colour here with this sort of interesting design, which apparently is inspired by a steel foundry. So the company was formed by the steel company, which is POSCO, which is a sponsor on the front, hence the name Pohang Steelers. And I think that's really, really cool. I love the design of this one. It's definitely one that I would love to try and buy. And then the away shirt is this one, which has sort of a blue wave effect running across sort of the shoulders downwards. And apparently that's inspired by the Sea of Japan. So both of these shirts are really, really nice, but that home shirt is absolutely beautiful. Now we have xiangnam FC, manufactured by Umbro. And I've seen this one floating around on just because I follow Umbro on social media. And I was very impressed with what I saw. So the home shirt had this black base with sort of an intricate designs with patterns on the front. I'm not quite sure specifically what they were. I couldn't figure out what that meant, but they do look very, very cool. And it also has this rainbow strip and stripe running down the sides, so it sort of reflects against the light. I thought that was very, very cool. Sort of iridescent style that seems to be very popular these days. And then you have the away shirt, which is a white number, and it has sort of like a faded horizontals running across the bottom there. And instead of the strip running down the sides, it actually runs across the shoulders. And I really like that one because it kind of reminds me of the Adidas 3-stripe, sort of with Umbro sort of styling to it. So if I was to get one of the two, I would get the away one, I think. And I really like the fact that they've got the magpie just from the crest as the crest, and they've not got this sort of the text around it. I think it looks really, really smart. Now we have suwon FC, manufactured by Hummel, just the only one Hummel manufacturer that's left now. And these shirts are actually not too particularly wild. So you've got the home shirt, which is sort of a red and blue number. But when I was looking at the website, I did find that they had this version of the shirt, but they also have an English version of the shirt, which I thought was quite interesting. I thought maybe possibly if they're playing in continental competition, if the club even is qualified, possibly. But other than that, I couldn't figure out why they would do that. So that was interesting. The away shirt is just sort of a white number with blue trims running across it, and it has a sort of like same sort of pattern that I believe the the Chelsea away shirt from last season, so it's sort of like a little stitch pattern. That's sort of the inspiration that I was getting there, so I thought it was quite cool. Very, very, very simple and very nice. Then we have suwon Samsung Blue Wings, manufactured by Puma once again. And this is one of the clubs when I used to watch, there used to be a magazine show on, I think it was Sky Sports, it was called like K-League Review, so you just watch it every weekend and you just see the goals and highlights, and obviously I didn't really know quite what was going on, but because I was younger, and it was at a time when Chelsea was sponsored by Samsung as well, and of course Samsung Blue Wings, they play in blue, so for me it was like, oh, it's just another version of Chelsea, and I really wanted their shirts. I can't remember if specifically they were also manufactured by Adidas at that point, but I just thought, yeah, they're the team that I would support, and I suppose they're the one that stands out to me. With regards to shirts, they don't really actually stand out that much though. The home shirt is just blue with sort of this sort of V design, I guess, written down, but the trims are in gold, which is very, very nice. And the away shirt is just a pretty simple white effort where the trims now and sort of the sponsors are in blue and red, which kind of looks nice. Does also, again, remind me of Chelsea. And then we finish with Ulsan Hyundai FC. I think they were with Hummel, but they are now with Adidas. And it sort of follows your typical Adidas template that we've seen teams all across the world use. Home shirt is blue with sort of orange effects running across the collars and running down the three stripe and then down the front. And then the away shirt is this one. It's sort of a white effort and kind of reminds me of a specific Spanish club as well with regards to the design and colours used. But very, very nice, and I wouldn't be too upset owning either of those. I think they're both cool in their own right. But that's it. Those are all the clubs. It's not the largest of leagues, but I thought it was very interesting. Maybe as the year progresses, we'll try and set ourselves a goal of trying to find one of these shirts. I think possibly I will have to sort of maybe find a contact that lives in Korea or someone who's going to Korea to be able to ship them across. Though similar to Japan, I think they're quite expensive. Not necessarily quite as expensive, I don't think, but still something that you would have to really think about when it comes to making the purchase. You certainly couldn't buy the entire league. Anyway, let me know which of these shirts that you would love to add to your collection, which stands out the most, and maybe we can all pick a team and support them as the season goes ahead. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a great week going ahead, and I've got two really, really cool videos this week. I'm really excited to show you the shirts that I've been buying. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for watching. See you next time.